very good face indeed, for practical purposes. A liveried retainer. What a concept. What did he retain? Our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honors for starters. She nodded cordially to him in the mirror and about-faced to follow him through the warren of Vorkosigan House. She must learn her way around this great pile of a residence as soon as possible. Embarrassing to be lost in one's own home, and have to ask some passing guard or servant to detangle one, in the middle of the night, wearing only a towel. I used to be a jump ship navigator, really. If she could handle 5 dimensions upside, surely she ought to be able to manage a mere 3 downside. They came to the head of a large circular staircase, curving gracefully down 3 flights to a black and white stone-paved foyer. Her light steps followed Bothari's measured tread. Her skirts made her feel she was floating, parachuting inexorably down the spiral. A tall young man, leaning on a cane at the foot of the stairs, looked up at the echo of their feet. Lieutenant Kudelka's face was as regular and pleasant as Bothari's was narrow and strange, and he smiled openly at Cordelia. Even the pain lines at the corners of his eyes and mouth failed to age that face. He wore imperial undress greens, identical but for the insignia to Security Commander Illian's. The long sleeves and high neck of his jacket concealed the tracery of thin red scars that netted half his body, but Cordelia mapped them in her mind's eye. Nude, Kudelka could pose as a visual aid for a lecture on the structure of the human nervous system, each scar representing a dead nerve excised and replaced with artificial silver threads. Lieutenant Kudelka was not quite used to his new nervous system yet. Speak truth. The surgeons here are ignorant, clumsy butchers. The work was certainly not up to Baton standards. Cordelia permitted no hint of this private judgment to escape onto her face. Kudelka turned jerkily and nodded to Bothari. "Hello, Sergeant." "Good morning, Lady Vorkosigan." Her new name still seemed strange in her ear, ill-fitting. She smiled back. "Good morning, Coup. Where's Aral?" "He and Commander Illian went into the library to check out where the new secured comm console will be installed. They should be right along." "Ah." He nodded, as footsteps sounded through an archway. Cordelia followed his gaze. Illian, slight and bland and polite, was eclipsed by a man in his mid-40s, resplendent in imperial dress greens. The reason she'd come to Barrayar. Admiral Lord Aral Vorkosigan, retired. Formerly retired, till yesterday. Their lives had surely been turned upside down yesterday. "We'll land on our feet somehow, you bet." Vorkosigan's body was stocky and powerful, his dark hair salted with gray. His heavy jaw was marred by an old L-shaped scar. He moved with compressed energy, his gray eyes intense and inward, until they lighted on Cordelia. "I give you good morrow, my lady," he sang out to her, reaching for her hand. The syntax was self-conscious, but the sentiment naked sincere in his mirror-bright eyes. "In those mirrors I am altogether beautiful," Cordelia realized warmly. "Much more flattering than that one on the wall upstairs. I shall use them to see myself from now on." His thick hand was dry and hot, welcome heat, live heat, closing around her cool, tapering fingers. "My husband." That fit as smoothly and tightly as her hand fit in his, even though her new name, Lady Vorkosigan, still seemed to slither off her shoulders. She watched Bothari, Kudelka, and Vorkosigan standing together for that brief moment. The walking wounded, 1, 2, 3. And me, the Lady Auxiliary. The survivors, Coup in body, Bothari in mind, Vorkosigan in spirit, all had taken near-mortal wounds in the late war at Escobar. Life goes on, march or die. Do we all begin to recover at last? She hoped so. "Ready to go, dear Captain?" Vorkosigan asked her. His voice was a baritone, his Barrayaran accent guttural warm. "Ready as I'll ever be, I guess." Illian